Have you ever wondered how to take over a junker subject to, and then it's really not a matter of how to take them over, is how do you profit with them when you take them over subject to? All right, hi, this is Alicia. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how to take over a junker subject to and make a profit when they're upside down. Okay, here goes. All right, so you're walking through a neighborhood and you see a junker, or somebody contacted you on one of your mailers and it's a junker and it's upside down, and so they owe money on it, right? And it's obviously probably going to be most likely upside down because it needs a ton of repairs. And it may even be one of those vacant homes that you see when you go by and do your mailings. Okay, so should you take over a junker subject to? And what can you do with a property like this? This is what one of my students went through when he tried to do a subject to deal. He did some mailings and somebody called him on his mailing. You know who you are, Roger. Okay, and now you want to know how to profit on this. So the truth is, or actually ideally, right, you want a property that is in the perfect condition or as close to it as you can get it. Good condition, and it needs no repairs in a newer neighborhood. Why? Because it's easy. It's easier to lease. Everybody wants them, and everybody wants to live in that newer community, and you get maximum profit. You get profit quickly. Okay? So that's where I tell you first, and if you take my course, then that's exactly what I teach, that this is where you find your deals the fastest. But what if you find a junker that is in need a lot of repairs and probably owes they owe money on the property? So such is the case. So I'm going to tell you how to make money on this. So what if you found a junker that you could take over subject to? Here is the thing. Nobody wants it, really. Right? Especially when they owe more than the thing is even worth. Nobody wants it. Nobody probably wants to live there right now. Nobody can live there right now. And it's there's nothing to stop you from taking the deal. And oh, and by the way, what if it's in foreclosure too? That's a doozy, right? Okay, so there's nothing to stop you. And most likely, you may be able to get that deed faster than all the other times. I mean, it's probably the quickest thing you'll probably ever do. Okay, so should you take the deed? Heck yes, because this is how you could make money with this, okay? There's nothing stopping you from making your money. The first thing you do is obviously take the deed. You're going to do the same kind of due diligence, making sure that the owner is the owner, and finding out what the property is going to be worth once it's fixed up and it's in a good condition, finding out how much the mortgage is and all of that. Okay, so once you've decided that that passes and you're going to take the deed, and maybe you might even have your end buyer in mind. Not maybe, but you should. So you take the deed subject to the underlying mortgage, subject to the junker situation that's going on. And of course, you're going to have to check the lien as well as the title, right? So yeah, take the deed. And this is what you do after. Here are your exit strategies. The first thing you can do, and if you're brave like me, you could basically just take it subject to, and if you're able to make up the back payments, that means correct the mortgage. If it's, in this case, this example that I'm telling you about is in foreclosure. So back up. Let me just tell you a little bit more about it. So it's a house. It's in foreclosure. It's a junker, and they owe more than the property is worth. Most investors would just chuck it and say, next, too hard. And so it is. But it's worth it. You know, it's worth it because there's profit available. So the first thing is you take the deed subject to. The second thing is to reinstate the loan or correct the mortgage. You can correct the mortgage that way. And you can just keep the property and make the payments on the over leveraged property, yes. And then you would owner finance it out to somebody else who can't get a mortgage but would love to get into this house and fix it the way they want to fix it. You would be surprised the amount of people that you will find that will actually buy a junker for more than it's worth currently. The best way to do that is, or the best ones are really the ones that, let's say, are in super neighborhoods or are located close to super neighborhoods, and they have potential. So somebody is going to say, okay, I know that the value, if it's fixed up, is 225 and they owe like, 230 right now, or you want $250,000 from me right now, I'll take it. Why? Because you're going to finance it, and I'm going to be able to move in and just take my shovel and fix it. Now, you think that might be a stretch? Truthfully, not really. I've done those, and they do work. I mean, you just have to wait a little bit to make your money. Okay, so then the next way, of course, if you didn't want to keep it or you lack the ability to make up the back payments, then obviously the bank is going to foreclose if you don't correct the mortgage. That means make it whole. That means take it out of foreclosure. If they owe, so yeah, if you don't correct the mortgage, they are going to foreclose. So the next thing then would be to try to get a loan mod, try to, smooth things over with them. Maybe they don't want to take the property back because it's in such bad shape, because you're going to send them pictures and show them how not a good idea to take this property back, and so basically you can, persuade them to take a loan modification. And if you get that, then you can do what I'm telling you to do the turn around and actually sell it on owner financing. Or you can lease it and, you fix, So obviously the most profitable way, at least in instant profit, would be to actually just sell it. The most profitable way is to just sell it right away. So you take the deed, and then without making up the back payments, without doing anything, trying to do a loan modification, just go right to the lender and say, I want to do a short sale. The owner says he wants to do a short sale, and you do a short sale. You get the short sale package. You and the owner have to fill it out, and then you create a contract and then send that in. That's it. And then you create a contract and you send that in. You get the short sale, and now it's a discounted property, and you turn around and sell it to your wholesaler. Now, you could just get a hard money loan and purchase it yourself and do the repairs all yourself. Fix and flip is good too, So you could do a subject to, so you can fix and flip. So that might be a good idea. Okay, so if you do find somebody who wants to take it off your hands, and that's a wholesale deal. Yeah, that's just a wholesale deal. Nothing wrong with a wholesale deal. It's a little messy, this kind of a deal, but there's a lot of profit that you could make from this. I think they owe something like 200 or something, and the property is worth obviously less than that because they need a ton of repairs. I think it's something like about $30,000-$40,000 worth of repairs. So I would take that 200,000. That here, the property is valued 200,000. They owe something like 225,000. If it needs repairs, then it's going to be worth even less than that. So here are the numbers. $200,000 is what the value of the property is if it were fixed up, and they owe about 225,000, something like that. It's in foreclosure, and yeah, it's a junker. So I would take the 200,000, which is the value of the property. Then I would subtract the amount that I need to repair. So call it 40,000. then we left with 160,000 that would be left after I, subtracted the repair money. I wouldn't stop there. I would actually negotiate for a price closer to one. So it would be something like maybe $125,000 that I'm asking for because this property is damaged, and I would probably get it. Why? Because I'm going to submit a whole bunch of pictures and I'm going to show you that it's not worth anywhere near the price that you're asking or they owe. Okay, and so if you get it for 125,000, maybe you might not want to fix that. Maybe you just turn around and sell it to somebody else. Maybe mark that up to 160 and have somebody else fix it. There you go. So that's what I would do. Really good deal if you can get them. And you know something? There's quite a bit of them, especially in those flooded areas. Okay, this is Alicia. I will talk to you at another time, and keep them coming.